What is up, YouTube? My name is Justin French, covering music for those who care, and today I have yet another album review to do. So, this album was released for pre-order in, I think, late July, early August, about there. And I was actually pretty hyped for this. I'm a big fan of this band, and I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about this album coming out today. So, yeah, let me not waste any time. And this album is the Desaturating Seven by Primus. This was released off of Prong Records, which is Les Claypool, the vocalist bassist of this band. That's his record label, along with ATO, which stands for According to Our Records, which fun play on words. And I actually got the CD right here. Actually, I kind of have a funny story to go along with that. So I was in the checkout line going to get this album at Best Buy, and the guy saw that I got this album, and he said, he was like, man, I can't wait to get off shift and buy this album. So, and I told him about this channel and how I was gonna review this album. So I kind of want to dedicate this album to him. Yeah, let me not waste any time. So let me talk about Primus. Primus is a very experimental band. They're also alternative, but very, very experimental, especially from classic albums like Frizzle Fry and Sailing the Seas of Cheese, Pork Soda, and definitely Tales from the Punch Bowl. My favorite being Sailing the Seas of Cheese, which was their commercial debut. Well, their commercial second album. And I've been a fan ever since. Now, this is also the first release to feature Tim Alexander on drums since, well, this is the first of original material since 1995 with Tales from the Punch Bowl. But this is his second album because he did the previous album, which was, I forgot what the name of that was. I think it had to do with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So I enjoyed that. I listened to it, and I pretty much enjoyed it. So this album is kind of a it's kind of a tale off of, what was his name? Old Rico's The Rainbow Goblins. And the first time I actually listened to this, actually every single time I listened to this album, it felt like one big song in like 35 minutes. But it was very progressive at the same time. I can't really go into the lyrical department just because I know what the story is. The story is basically kind of these goblin creatures planning to steal the rainbow, pretty much. Take away the rainbow colors. So that's pretty much the lyric department right there. But this album, as it continues to get more and more progressive and experimental as it goes, and that's a big thing with Primus. Primus are very known for being this progressive experimental band. You know, they change it up. That's why I love Primus. Primus loves to change up their songs on every single album, pretty much. So there is a guest on here, Justin Chancellor from Tool. Hey, speaking of which, hey Tool. Yeah, we're still waiting for a new album. It's been about almost 12 years. You mind kind of releasing something? A single at least? Sorry, I had to get that in there. But we've been waiting for so long. Anyways, so this track opens up with The Valley, and it's about, there's 2 minutes of kind of a giving an introduction to this song, to this album pretty much as a whole. And Justin Chancellor, I'm guessing, is the one who is reading all of this. And the Seven kind of gives an introduction as to who the characters are. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I kind of like that marching. It kind of sounds like a march in that song. But, and then it goes with the boom, 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 boom kind of sound. So I really like the Seven. The Seven's kind of funk, and it does kind of have this little funk element into some of the songs. The Dream kind of sounds really ambient, honestly. it is well, it kind of fits because it is the dream. It talks about one of the goblins having this dream. And there's not very much vocals on that song. The track, I really like that. I think that's one of two of my favorites. The track and the scheme kind of play along with each other. The track is like a 7-minute, almost 8-minute instrumental, or not instrumental, but 8-minute song. And whenever it kind of breaks down a little bit after the verses are kind of soft, kind of quiet. And also the dream kind of features this kind of tremolo playing from Larry, I forgot what his last name was. Hang on, I'm sorry. I should know this by now. But it's kind of a hard name to pronounce anyways. Leilandi. I don't know, I might be wrong. Leilandi. But I really like his guitar playing. It's very minimal. But it still adds to the sound of Primus. Les Claypool, one of my favorite basses of all time, definitely still kicks ass on this album. And Tim on drums. I mean, this is the quintessential Primus sound, honestly. This is the members of the band. That's what makes up Primus. So, I feel the instrumentation is pretty well done, even though it feels like a short album, honestly. The one track I'd probably have to single out is probably The Ends, with a question mark, The Ends. That one probably is although I do like all the songs, it is probably my least favorite, just because, it's only like a almost 2-minute instrumental. And there's not really much to it, but I still enjoyed listening to it. So, it is pretty different for a 2017 release, but I still would recommend this album. Is it as good as their earlier material? Kinda, sorta. I'd kinda would give it, I'd probably say it's a lot better than Brown Album. Brown Album's probably my least favorite, but I mean, it's still pretty good. I still enjoyed this album. So my rating for this album is an 8 out of 10. Pretty good listen. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon.